Next here from Teck American on the Apex mine under the category of outstanding final reclamation or site reclamation.
I'm just here today to introduce this project. Dave Enos of Teck American had asked me to introduce him in the project since I was the one that nominated the project. The site is located southwest of the town of St. George. Not only was I impressed with the quality of work that the folks at Teck did when they did the reclamation. This was an old historic mine, and there were many old abandoned shafts and things that Teck took upon themselves to mitigate the dangers and hazards of as well that were not part of the permit they had with us. So it's not just doing a great work, but they also went above and beyond and took care of a lot of problems that existed in the area as well. So with that introduction, Dave Enos will present the project.
Thank you, Lynn, and thank you to the board for allowing us to present today. I'm Dave Enos, manager of dormant properties for Teck American Incorporated. I'm out of Spokane, Washington. We start every presentation that Teck presents with a safety message. Today's safety message is our safety motto, which is everybody going home safe and healthy every day, and that applies to our mine sites and our dormant properties as well. For those of you who don't know about Teck, couple corporate slides here. We're a big steelmaking coal miner up in Canada. We're also an important zinc miner, and we're an important copper miner. And we're also a very sustainable mining firm, and that sort of gives you some context of why we do what we did up at the Apex mine. Little background on Apex. It's located 14 miles west of St. George. It sits on about a square mile land. It's currently, or most recently, a germanium deposit. Initially, it was a copper deposit. It was mined between 1872 and the 1940s. In 1985, the Apex mine became the first primary producer of germanium and gallium, produced until about 1987. Teck and our JV partner, Penny Roya, purchased the property in 1996. Teck is the managing partner. In 2002, our corporation, or Teck, decided they wanted to improve public safety at all their mine sites, including their dormant properties. And so we hired a consultant to inventory all the dangerous mine features at the Apex mine. And they found a couple dozen stopes, open stopes, adits, shafts, and other unsafe openings. In 2003 and again in 2008, we installed back gates and grates. We did some foam closures. We put fences around some open features to address public safety concerns we had at the site. These were all done not under state oversight. They were independent actions. After we did those, we realized that we were seeing increasing vandalism and trespassing by mineral collectors and metal collectors at the site. So we decided to do a final closure, and the price of germanium sort of drive that as well. In 2011, we did the final closure of the site. We removed and demolished site equipment and site infrastructure, and we regraded and contoured the former mine pad, dump, and the roads. And since then, we've been doing annual inspections and noticed we had some poor revegetation occurring on parts of the site, and that's where I met Lynn. We went up and did some additional seeding in 2014, and then we continue to do operation and maintenance activities. I did a closure just a couple months ago of a shaft that was opened up, and I have a couple slides on that. So the rest of the presentation are photos. For some context, this is what the Apex mine looked like before we did the reclamation or final closure in 2011. Yes. But before that, we did, these are the back gates or photos of the back gates and grates that we put up in 2003 and 2008. We had, again, we put some fencing up around some features that we couldn't close. The photo on the right is a open stope. It's a pretty dangerous feature. It drops pretty far down there, so we put a fence around it, and we maintain the fence. As I mentioned, in the late 2000s, we noticed a bunch of vandalism. This is just a photo of our generator up at the site in 2008, and then you can see we came back in 2009, and it was completely stripped out. And so we figured the mine site was becoming an attractive nuisance, so that prompted us to begin planning that final closure. So in 2011, we demolished the infrastructure at the site, removed tanks, removed the debris, recycled what we could, took apart the buildings. We regraded the pad dump and did a road regrade. We actually removed the road going into the site. It's really difficult to get into the site now, which made it difficult to do some of the O&M features that we did. A before and after picture of the mine pad and dump regrade. On the left was before reclamation, on the right is after reclamation. We left it hummocky to help prevent erosion or limit erosion, and also to hold seed for the re-veg. The last photo was looking north. This is looking south across the site. In 2014, the vegetation was mostly coming back pretty good. We also closed our portal in 2011. We left that open, and we had found people trying to break into it. So we built a frame over the portal. You can see, look at this area up here, this little notch. You can see what we did in the next slide. So that notch was right here, and you can see that notch now here. So we had filled in the portal after we had done the or it's part of the regrade. So since then, we noticed there were portions of the site, and this was done just independently. We weren't prompted by the state to do this, but I approached Lynn and said we have a seed mix. It didn't come back very well in parts of the site. So we worked with Lynn and came up with an optimized seed mix. 2014, went up and casted some seed with a couple volunteers. Those are my sons from northern Arizona. They came up. What kids will do for a free meal and a little money. It's good to see them. So I mentioned we do routine operation and maintenance at the facility. We found this shaft open, or it's a vertical shaft where there was a collapse on the sidewall of it behind some boards, and there was some evidence that some people were actually, I think, were trying to get into it. So we did it earlier this year. I did an operation and maintenance closure of it. The hole is located behind these boards here. So, oops, again. So the next photo shows I took a blue tarp, rolled it up, attached rope to it, stuffed it into the hole. We hauled up. This is about a 3/4 of a mile hike straight uphill, carrying a couple of bags of foam. We mixed it up, poured it on top of the plug we put in, and then shoveled some dirt on it. That concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.